TV. We are live. This is the post Unbanded show. I was just sitting over there chilling with the Unbanded podcast. You had Felipe, you had Roger, of course, you had Peter, special guest John from New Wave. That was a good show, man. That was a good show. I know there's not a lot of people going to join in because everybody was spending time watching that. And man, it's just such a good thing to see these dudes come up with such a great show and a great concept and just good conversation, man. I love hanging out with those cats, man. So who knows how this live is going to do? I think everybody's burnt out and it's late. I was actually trying my best to come on and do this episode early so I could get in and and not have everybody on the East Coast all drained and tired. I'm using a mic, man. So y'all let me know. Y'all let me know if the audio is okay. Give me some feedback in the chat. Let me know if the audio is okay. I had to do this one a little bit differently. I've been getting roasted for using my headphone mic. So we're going to see how this goes. If anybody's going to join in today, thank you for whoever hit the like button. We are going. Sounds good. Appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, homeboy. We are going. Sorry for I don't have much lighting, man. I don't want my phone to burn out. There we go. I got this one from Sal. This is a Bolivar from Havana. It's a Cuban. Limited edition 2018. Special size on this one. This is like a 54, 5.5 by 54. And it's supposed to be a little bit, since it's a limited edition, it's supposed to be better, handmade, better crafted. But it's a Cuban, man. Who knows how this one might go. I'm already a little bit worried about the draw, man. Just from the cold draw, I'm a little bit worried. It's had a little bit of time to acclimate and do all that kind of good stuff, man. So hopefully this will be good. I'm really excited, man. I haven't had a Cuban in so long, man. It's been easily over a year since I've had a Cuban. Why is this thing not lighting? Come on, man. Give me some fire. The blood clot, yo. There you go. I can't lie, man. I've been fiending to have a Cuban cigar for a while. So when Sal sent this out to me, I got hyped, man. I was just... That draw is already like whatever, man. What's up, Ben? Thank you for lighting up that cigar with me, man. I want to try that Hardcore Black, man. I hear they all sold out. I hear it's like really hard to get that cigar right now. I must say that I am intrigued by it. I'm frustrated already, guys, because this draw is trash. And it's really disappointing, man. Like, I don't want it to be that thing. Where you get the stereotype for Cuban cigars, but it's not even like lighting up the way it's supposed to. I'm definitely getting Cuban, man. Y'all don't know how much I hate this, man. You don't know how much I hate this. Like, you shouldn't have to like be paranoid when you light up your cigar. Like that shouldn't be a thing. You should never have to like worry about like, fuck, man, is this cigar not gonna smoke? I don't want to hotbox this thing. I want to give it another moment. But I'm at this point, man, I'm almost thinking it's just like I feel like whoever's just rolling these cigars are just saying, fuck it, and just want to try. And they're sitting back and laughing at everybody in the US that are like buying these cigars and smoking these cigars. I think they're just sitting back laughing at us. It's like, you want to put us in an embargo? Try this, motherfuckers. Like, this is crazy, man. Pardon me for not talking right now. Like, I'm really trying to get something out of this. And you can see it's lit, but you guys haven't seen me blow out any smoke at all. This is what people complain about. This is what people complain about when they say Cubans aren't worth it. And you try, you try to be unbiased. You try to have an open mind. You try to like give a little bit of leeway to Cubans. You try to give a little bit of a benefit of the doubt. But when you get in a special edition, and this is what you got to deal with, when you get a brand that is story and known like Bolivar, like, you expect to have a good experience, man. But God, like, I'm getting nothing. And I had my palate like all ready for a Cuban cigar. Like, that's what I wanted. Like, I haven't had this flavor profile in some time. That's what I wanted, man. So what's up, y'all? Almost home from a late night gym session. Gonna light up and grab a drink and relax. Hey, man, don't get a Cuban. Whatever you're gonna get something that's better than this, man. My feelings are hurt. My feelings are really hurt. The only thing this is worth is just to sit back and try to look cool. Just to say, oh, I'm smoking a Cuban, because if you just look at it, you think it's gonna be burning perfectly. You think it's gonna be something right. But I'm not. I'm just not the type anymore to go back and get like a perfect draw and try to do like surgery on this thing and dissect this thing. I don't want to do it. I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before I light up another cigar. But I highly doubt this is ever gonna open up. But this is it's really, like, you can probably tell, like, I'm really genuinely frustrated right now. I sat through the entire Unbanded podcast and I was like, I want to sit back and I want to light a cigar while I'm watching these dudes, enjoying the conversation. And that cavalier that they had on the show is amazing. So if you didn't watch the show and you don't know what is up with Unbanded, John, what up, man? If you don't know what's going on with Unbanded, the concept is, someone from the Unbanded crew will send out a cigar, and it's completely unbanded. Everybody smokes it together, and they try to figure out what that cigar is. Only one person out of the crew, and including the special guest, is going to know what the actual cigar is. Everybody picks out their flavor notes. Everybody gives their profiles. Everybody gives their opinion. People in the viewership can give their guess and give their opinion. And when they get down to the end of the cigar, they give it a tier list grade, and then they tell you what the cigar is. Absolutely brilliant concept. Fantastic concept. And you really can't be mad at that concept at all. Just the whole way that they do that, and just enjoying the show in general. It gives you a nice idea of how everyone palate work, how everyone views the cigar, how everyone reviews the cigar. It's just a dope concept. So I've been ranting and raving about Cavalier lately for a while now. I really love Cavalier, and my whole thing is consistency with brands and consistency with construction and consistency with smoke profile, smoke body, all that. And Cavalier has really absolutely been killing it. I've only had one other type of cigars that was listed today, and that was the Blue Band, or for the Inner Circle. Phenomenal cigar. Absolutely blew me away. So it was real cool to actually see them have that cigar up there. And when they initially released it as Unbanded, it didn't even cross my mind that it would be a Cavalier. Most people, just like they were saying in the show, you're expecting to see the gold foil up there. I know that the Inner Circle doesn't have that. They have a really dope band, but they don't have the gold foil. It still didn't cross my mind. I tried so many different avenues to see what that cigar was going to be. Cavalier never crossed my mind, and that was just awesome. It's an awesome way to promote that. It's such a good cigar, man. That was really cool. But I'm sitting here fighting with this Cuban. And I draw out of this thing to save my fucking life. And I should have just lit it up during the show, so that way I would have known. And by the time I came to do this, post Unbanded show, I would have had a better situation. I could have got this cigar out of the way. I'm so angry right now. My Warriors are losing right now. They're getting their ass handed to them by the Pelicans, and this cigar sucks. This sucks, man. I refuse to get a perfect draw. Luckily, haven't needed one. Yeah, I mean, at one point in time, I was all for the perfect draw. I always thought, like, hey, if it would give me a chance to kind of revitalize my cigars and bring them back to life. But I don't feel like I should ever have to do that with my cigars. I hate fighting through that. I hate that whole process. Dave, I got the Bolivar Havana, a Cuban, and it is sucking balls right now. It is terrible. I want to send the unbanded pack. I want to send the unbanded pack someday. That way, none of them know. Hey, send it out, man. You got to do that. Cab is highly on my radar. After that, you aren't lying, bro. Trust me. You love like that Nicaraguan. You love like jalapa and all that. Trust me. You got to go through that black line. You got to go through that Viso jalapa line. You got to get the white. Like, you really got to go through and try Cavalier. I don't think I have any more to send you right now. I'm gonna double check. I got to redo my humidor soon. If I got more, John, I will send them out to you. Hopefully I got some more down there, but I think I've smoked every Cavalier that I have. Yeah, man, the Warriors had a back game, man. They played just yesterday, and it's crazy because they let Klay Thompson and they let Draymond get rest, and it's pretty much just been the Steph show and all the rookies and the new players and all that. So they did everything they could to beat the Blazers, and then they went up against a buzzsaw today, man. Like, because the way that the Pelicans are playing right now, everybody's clicking and they're getting their ass handed to them. They're so good, all of them. Yeah, man, that's what I was saying. Like, and like, I love the fact when you have these brands that are consistent like that, and each of them have their own profiles. They're not like, you're not getting the same thing from one cigar to the next. I really can't think of a Cavalier that I've had that let me down. I really can't think of one. I'm trying to go through it in my head right now, and honestly, I thought the inner circle was going to be the one that I was like, maybe it's not all that. Maybe it's just kind of mid. Maybe it's whatever. We're gonna see. Can't bat 1,000 like that. I was absolutely wrong. That cigar actually took me by surprise. I will say that the two cigars that took me by surprise most recently, right? What up? The two cigars that took me the most by surprise right now was the Pulpetta and the Inner Circle. Just as of late, just like trying different cigars out and trying to see what was going to work for me. Those cigars are the ones that was like, okay, I didn't expect them to be this damn good. They were phenomenal. And the Pulpetta was different because it wasn't the draw on it. I didn't like the draw. It was kind of wonky because it was a Cuban sandwich. But with all the different flavors that they put in from my favorite, Dunbarton tobaccos, that thing, I could have been blindfolded and told you, like, this is one of the best cigars that flavor-wise is out there. And the same thing with the Inner Circle. Like, my expectations were low. And, I was just up here by myself and I was trying it. I know I went back to the New Wave cats in the group chat. I was like, yo, this cigar is amazing. This cigar is amazing. So they haven't let me down yet. Let's see, who else is there? Speaking of basketball, what do you think of LeBron's son trying to go pro? Many have told me it'll only happen because of LeBron. It's the only reason why it's going to happen. He has not had a really good season. He's had a solid season as a college basketball player, but nothing. What up, Roger? But nothing about what he's done is to say this dude is a standout. And what they're doing right now is the fact that this year for college basketball players, there's no real standout star. So the smartest thing for him to do was just to hop in with a bunch of nobodies anyway, and his name is going to take him a little bit further than anything else. If nothing at all, he's going to be able to sell tickets and get people's butts in the seat and the chance to see LeBron and his son play on the court at the same time. That's all that is, man. That's really all that is. Let's see. I recommend the Black 2 Viso Jalapa to Better Man Tobacco because he had a friend coming into town and told me that his buddy told me what his buddy liked. They smoked that one and ended up getting a box. For real, dude. It's really crazy that they're still this under the radar right now. And my opinion that the reason why Cavalier is so under the radar right now is because of the gold band and the gold seal on it. I think people thought they were going to be kind of gimmicky, and that people were going to look at it like this cigar is just it's gaudy and all this kind of stuff, and but honestly, I don't know anybody who is smoking these cigars that are actually sitting back to and try to enjoy the environment of smoking that cigar, just the aroma, just the the construction, and most importantly, the flavor profiles on each of these cigars. I don't think anybody's doing that. I really want Sebastian to promote even more than he's doing, because I really feel like more people should try it and really get their hands on it to see like, yo, these guys are legit. Not even like I'm putting this out. Like, what's the point? I'm wasting my time right here. So this might be a short episode, man, because I'm just gonna switch to Dunbars. Since we're talking about consistent cigars, I'm gonna go with the Dunbar on this one. Already a better draw. Oh man, that's definitely a sweetened tip. I don't care what anybody says. That like going from the Cuban to this Silver Mesa Brulee, like that is definitely sweetened, bro. I went from basically tasting nothing on my lips to just like pure vanilla. I'm still having lighter problems, man. I think it's the environment here in Japan that does this shit to my fucking lighters, yo. I'm having a fucked up day, man. This is kind of whack, yo. Let me see what y'all saying. Yeah, I got the blue. The Inner Circle gave me Nicaragua series vibes for real. Yeah, in a way. Yeah, Fred. I kind of see that, man. It's a similar profile. I think it was a little bit more spice or on the end with the Inner Circle, but yeah, it definitely kind of gave you similar vibes with that. And I would love to smoke those back to back to figure out which one I like more. I would love to kind of see, because I don't know, man, because I love both of them so much. And so, like, now that you say that, like, that makes me kind of want to figure out which one I think would have a higher opinion of. So they got new offices in Honduras, so I think they're expanding. So that's probably where their focus is, Mike. It's just on the expansion of the brand, and that's cool, man. But and I like the fact that they don't really rush. And I like the fact they don't really rush what they're doing. I like the fact that they don't really they're putting out new cigars. I think they just recently put out another one of the LEs for the was it either 2023 or 2024, and that LE was amazing as well too. Like, I haven't had anything, but they don't have like the hugest portfolio, but everything that I have had from them so far has been outstanding. Such a difference. I can actually draw the cigar. Wow, what a concept to actually be able to smoke your cigar. He said, "Ain't no way it's not sweetened." I agree with you, John. This is definitely sweetened. It is most definitely. I'm just like, I don't get that from any other cigar. How he said, like, that it's not sweetened. It's like, come on, Saka. Like, I think it's just a way of Saka to troll people. Like, you should know whether it's sweetened or not if you're actually tasting the cigar. You should know whether it is or not. I think the one that they had on the Unbanded was the Domain. I'm pretty sure that was the Domain. What up, G? G, you see my Warriors getting smacked right now, man? Just found a deal on the Nicaragua series for $73 for a box of 15. Dude, if you don't hop on that, I don't tell people to jump that fast. But think about this. We were just talking about this on the Unbanded. And, they were saying like, you shouldn't have to stress like how you're spending your money and all that kind of stuff. Like if you want to spend your money on cigars, if you want to buy expensive or high-end cigars and all that, it's your money. Go out and do it. Get what you want. And I totally agree with all of that. I'm not mad with any of that at all. But my thing is, if you got the opportunity to buy one $65 Zodiac cigar, whatever, limited edition cigar, whatever, or to buy a box of Nicaragua series for $73, give me that $10 more over here so I can get 10 cigars that I know I'm going to absolutely enjoy. You know what I'm saying? I would take that any day. That is absolutely something like, for me, the way I want to spend my money. If I'm gonna drop from $65 to $70, let me get 10 cigars instead of just one that might be mid. That 2023 is my top cigar that I've smoked this year. For real, from the Cavalier joint. From you, Mike, that's high praise, man. That's high praise. I didn't even realize that you liked it that much. I need to go back and see whatever you did, whatever write-up you got on it. Steven is up in here. What up? Yeah, Cavalier is definitely solid, man. Eric saying the same thing. That 2023 Cavalier was bomb. And like, dude, they're not missing, man. Yeah, that's the blue band joint. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. They're not missing. They're not missing. That's one person, like, I really wish that, I might actually have to, reach out just to see what they would have to say, man. I would love to have Sebastian on the show. I would love it for the sorry about that. I need to smoke. For the infamous, pod, I would love to have him up there just to pick his brain. It's very few people that that I would want to go out of my way to really congratulate them and give them all the accolades for how good their brand is. Sebastian and everybody at Cavalier, that's a brand and a company that I want to just kind of do the little, hey, you guys are really legit. You're really the shit. And I want more people to smoke your cigars. But, because y'all know I took a step back because I really didn't want to feel like, I'm making money for all these other companies. I didn't want to feel like I'm doing their marketing and doing all of that for them. But this is one that genuinely that I really feel like, it would only be a great conversation just to pick his brain to see, why they blend the cigars the way that they do, what their pathway is. I want to know what their trajectory is. I want to know what they're trying to say with their cigars. I want to know what they're trying to tell their consumers and what the idea is for the company. I want to know what their motto is. I want to know what their purpose is, because I really feel like their cigars are that good. I don't think you can make a cigar brand that good unless this is your dream, this is your concept. When we did the show with Pastanye, whatever the name of that cigar is, I actually really enjoyed the Justice. I thought it was a really good cigar. But in that moment when Mike was basically saying he really didn't care about cigars like that, it really took a lot of the wind out of my sails. You know what I'm saying? It really took me it took me back a little bit, because I'm I want these people to care about their baby. I want these people to care about their cigars. And it's kind of when you're making food, it's like when you're a chef. I want it to be like water for chocolate. I want it to be every emotion that you have about this cigar. I want you to put it into that cigar. That's why I was so hyped when I was talking to Jabbar from Definition. I felt like he had that. I felt like he really felt like every cigar that he was going to put out meant something. That's kind of a big deal for me. I love the cornflakes, frosted flakes vibe. This gives you a nice cereal profile, and the retro hell is where I'm getting all the spice from. But just on the palate, it's giving you this very cereal but a creamy note. And then when you get that vanilla sweetness on the end of it, that sugar sweetness. It goes from like cornflakes to frosted flakes. It's just kind of interesting, like getting that profile while I was talking to y'all. So, oh no way, I think I have one of those. They have the stamp of the year on them, right? Pretty sure Master Your Ash knows him. He could probably sweet talk him. Master, like yo, Michael knows everybody, dog. It's the it's the craziest thing, man. Michael knows everybody, man. And I wish I had Roger's experience to be able to go out to PCA with Michael, just to have him be able to introduce you to everybody, because he really knows everybody, to be able to shake hands like that. I'm kind of like, I know I'm kind of gregarious and I talk a lot up here, but I'm a lot more laid back in person. And I still talk, and I still like, you still get my personality and all that. But I would love to just, goddamn, murder hornets are out. But I would love to just be able to kind of listen to people. I love to absorb what people have to say, especially if they have something in the profession that I'm interested in. I would love to be able to just kind of shake hands with a couple people just to see what was going on. Roger said, bro, Sebastian is super, super soft spoken. I met him once and it was hard to understand him. Yeah, I've seen that in interviews. But I feel like we can kind of bring out some liveliness, from Sebastian. And it's cool. We've had some soft spoken guests. From we had Sam from Crux, and we had a dude from Wildfire Cigars, and they were both real laid back, soft spoken cats, and they were still good shows. So I think we could bring some life out of that. It's real tough when you got somebody that is that soft spoken though. You kind of like, what'd you say? No doubt. Sal, what up, man? Hey, man, I tried to smoke that Cuban you sent to me, Sal, and it was. And in the words of Cigar Carpenter Mike, I got Cuban on that one, man. The draw was it was impossible on that one, man. Sorry about that, bro. But thank you for sending it out to me, man. I had my mouth all ready for a Cuban, man. I hadn't had a Cuban in so long. I couldn't wait to smoke that shit. It just didn't go right. Ryder said, I'm not super into blends like that, but you want the guy making them to be a nerd. Yeah, it's not even just that, man. Of course, I want them to be a nerd and all that, but they don't have to nerd out as much as I do. But I want them to feel like, you know, in order for you to grow and be able to produce something like that, you got to have some concept of how it is flowing and how it's going. And of course, you could be a figurehead and you allow a master blender or another seasoned blender to do it, kind of like John Huber and all that. But the amount of time and effort that you get somebody like John Huber that puts into his cigars, you can tell that like he's passionate about that. He's smoking the cigars himself. He's talking about the cigars himself. If you ask him about a cigar, yeah, it was the Boulevard, dude. If you ask him about the cigar, he can kind of give you an idea of what the cigar means to him, what it tastes like to him. And that for me goes it goes a long way. It goes into a point where you can actually really feel like their next cigar is going to be even better than the last cigar, or they're going to give you a flavor profile that's completely different than another cigar. Work, what up, man? What up, fellas? Thank y'all for joining in. Hey, man, you don't got to say damn like that. It's a Cuban, bro. Cuban's gonna Cuban, and you went out of your way to send me, absolutely dope cigars. So I'm not taking any kind of way. And that stuff happens sometimes, man. I feel bad, because I sent, DJ a cigar that actually had mold on it, and that wasn't, supposed to happen. It wasn't like that when it left me, but with the temperature issues that I was having and traveling across the world like that, shit happens, bro. I'm grateful for you actually sending it out to me. I'm not worried about the the double Corona. I'm so excited for that cigar, bro. I don't know when I'm gonna smoke that cigar. I might actually save that one for like my birthday or something. Man. I don't know. I'm so excited about that. It was a thing like yesterday. I had the what cigar did I have? My memory is so bad. What cigar did I smoke yesterday that was outstanding? I had two really good cigars. Let me see. Maybe I got the bit. Oh, yeah. I smoked this Andalusian Bull. It was the Jack Swartz. And that was the reason why I picked the Boulevard today, because I smoked the Jack Swartz. And I was talking to a couple people recently. I was talking to Fred from Cigar Head Fred TV, and I was talking to Joe Knows, and they were saying that they really weren't feeling the Andalusian Bull. They didn't really, enjoy the experience of having the Andalusian Bull. And I was saying like how much I actually love the cigar. And sometimes like you can rant and rave about a cigar, and it's been a while since you actually smoked one, because I like to let Andalusian Bulls age, and I like to let them have some time to really acclimate and to really further ferment and do the whole process. I feel like those cigars actually need that process. It's very few cigars that I go into the whole aging thing and yada yada yada. I feel like it's necessary with a bull. So I had gone down to like my last bull. A couple people had sent me a few Andalusians, and I had a Jack Swartz that was waiting for me. So I'm like, I'm going back and forth with Fred, and I'm going back and forth with Joe, talking about like, y'all really need to try this cigar again, man, because I really think it is outstanding. Matt was saying like how much it had so much honey flavor in it, and it was such a good cigar. And I was like, let me light this up again. Let me see if it's gonna live up to what my memory banks was telling me about this cigar. And I gotta tell y'all, it didn't just live up to it. It exceeded what I actually remember about the cigar. That is absolutely one of the cigars that every time you smoke it, you're like, shit, this thing really is legit. It really is the real thing. And so then my next train of thought is like, I haven't had Cubans in a while. And I was telling everybody how Cuban-esque this cigar is and how much it reminds me of Cubans in the whole nine. So I was like, I need to have a Cuban again. It's been about a year since I've smoked a Cuban. I haven't really been able to get them while I was here in Japan. Not because they're not available here. It's just I don't have the access anymore where I'm living right now. So I was like, yo, Sal just sent me a couple Cubans. Let me grab this Boulevard. I actually haven't even had the Boulevard. I remember, like, I go through and tell you guys all the time about the Cubans that I absolutely love. I tell you guys all the time about Hoya, the Monterey. I tell you guys all the time about the Monte number 2 and the Monte number 4. I rant and rave about the Siri D. And then we all have these conversations about, how they can, be plugged, and you can have construction issues with that. And I had been having a good run with Cubans. I had been having a pretty good go of it, but then the well kind of ran dry. And when I didn't have access to it anymore, I was like, today I'm gonna come up on and do a live early. I'm gonna get on so the people on the East Coast can get on, and we're gonna sit back and smoke a Cuban. Y'all gonna get to sit back and have a Cuban with a vintage cigar. I'm gonna get to really talk about it, give my absolute thoughts on it. And I'm finally going to get that Cuban twang that I have been missing for quite some time. So I was really dead set on the experience. What it is, man. Like, you really got to think about it. Like, as much as I love the Cuban cigars, the fact of the matter is, it's a crapshoot. The fact of the matter is that it can be an issue where they're going to have some quality control issues. It is what it is. And that's not any... We were talking, on the Unbanned about like how it's not the cigar's fault that that the cost is going to be what it is. That's going to be up to the person that is actually, marketing the cigar, that's pricing the cigar, and it's up to you whether you enjoy it or not. It's up to you whether you want to spend your money on that. And that same concept goes for the Cuban cigars. It's not the Cubans' fault that it was rolled improperly. But we got to put the onus on it that it is what's coming from Cuba, that you can have to deal with quality control issues. Now it's going to be up to you as the consumer. Do you want to take your money, and do you want to roll the dice to get that Cuban cigar? That is what it is, man. Sal said, I'm glad you like the polpetta. I love that smoke, and I had hopes that Staka actually extends the line. I actually sent a message to Dave Lafferty, who is, I think he said he's either the director or vice president of sales with Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco. And I had to tell him like how much I actually love that polpetta, man. Like it hasn't been many cigars that just had me sit back in my seat and just stare at my cigar. Y'all saw the short that I did when I was saying like how you can tell when somebody cigar and they sit back and they stare at it and all. That's what I was doing with the polpetta. I was really like, God damn, like flavor wise, that's my wheelhouse. If you guys want to understand like what my palate is, you kind of want to understand what I like in a cigar. Like I know I'm pretty diverse in my opinion on cigars, but you want to find my happy space, like the spot that like makes me like, okay, this is a cigar that I'm gonna jump around for. It's either gonna be the Eye of the Shark, it's gonna be the E2 Brut, Julius Caesar, the Polpetta, and the Andalusian Bull. Right now, not encompassing everything that comes along with cigars, but just purely flavor wise, that's my sweet spot, especially that polpetta, yo. Just sweet spot wise, like that is just it hit like it had the savory, it had the umami, it had the sweet, it had just the right amount of pepper in there, it had the earth and it has some body to it. The only downside that I had to that polpetta was it had a draw like a Cuban sandwich. It had this wonky kind of draw, like the whole thing when Sam was going off about how you never have to worry about the humidity, you don't have to worry about his cigars because of the way they're rolled, and he cuts his cigar open and he shows you that it's like an accordion in there. It's rolled perfectly. And you had what's the guy name? And Glenn always talking about how cigars are rolled into bar, and they're rolled that way so you can get the perfect amount of draw. I don't know why Cubans ain't doing that. I don't know what Cubans are doing. But that being said, that Cuban sandwich, when you have these little bits and pieces and then you have some long filler in there, the draw can be kind of wonky sometimes. But what was really cool about that cigar, like it had a beautiful ash on it, and it held on a lot longer than the Sober Mesa would ash wise. But flavor, that thing smoked the way it was supposed to. That shit had me hyped, man. Let's see. So yeah, I've been waiting to get a notification next time for the harvest of the Andalusian Bulls come in. They're not too expensive. The boxes for 10 or around 150. Yeah, that's about right for Andalusian Bulls from Cigar International. And the thing is, I would recommend on that one is once you get that, I would smoke one and then let the rest sit and then let them get some age on them. I would probably take out one to smoke fresh so you get an idea of what that flavor profile is going to be like fresh. And then, maybe have a couple set aside, just, give them, 3 to 6 months or whatever. And I'm really not a proponent of letting cigars age, but I'll expound on that in just a second. And then have the rest of them set aside, give them like a year or two. And then when you go back to see what the difference is going to be on those cigars, I'm telling you, it's night and day. And it's such an amazing profile when it gets like that. And it's so good. It's so good. But the reason why I'm saying that is because those cigars sell out so fast. And I'm sure that they're rushing them to production just to get the cigars out there. They got to make their money. So they're gonna do that. They're gonna get the cigars out there really fast. So I'm like 90% sure that most of the times when people first get their bulls, they're not ready yet. Not to the point where you're necessarily going to get ammonia and all that kind of stuff like that. But I don't think they really give them enough time for the flavors to develop the way they're supposed to. Because I tell you that Jack Schwartz that I had yesterday, if it wasn't like one of the best cigars that I've had this year, it's damn close to it. It was so good, man. That's just my opinion on it. That's just me giving my opinion. He said, bro, do you know anyone who rolls tobacco in Japan? I just got a weird theory to save my V-cut tobacco and make a Cuban sandwich with hundreds of makers. Thoughts? Hey, dude, I always feel that when you have an idea like that, you should roll with an idea like that. And I think you should put whatever resources, whatever potential that you have to bring that idea to life, you should make that happen. I honestly feel like you never know, you might be able to come up with something that's phenomenal. The downside to that is, Peter, what up? I don't know anybody currently who's rolling out here in Japan, and I don't feel like, from just what I've seen of the culture out here, I don't know anybody. It's so many craftsmen and craftswomen and craftspeople here in Japan, but I don't know anybody who's really into cigars like that, to that level that I would imagine they could roll cigars, especially not to have a team of people to be able to roll cigars. I could be wrong. I could. I mean, this is a huge country with a lot of people. There's probably someone out there. I don't have the resources to get it out there. Who knows? We might be able to network in time to make that happen. But it would be amazing to kind of put that Cuban sandwich together and to kind of figure out a decent recipe for a blend to make something that could be as good or potentially as good as a pulpetta. Now, that's a cool idea to me. I dig it, but I just don't know. Albert said I always keep at least 2 boxes of Julius Caesars in the humidor at all times, and I don't blame you, bro. Especially in that Bellicoso or the Itu Brut. If you can keep those on hand, I know they're not cheap cigars, but really and truly, it's such a great cigar in general that it's always one that you want to have in the humidor at some point in time, especially if you can keep boxes. More power to you. But Julius Caesar, man, and JC Newman. JC Newman is what I wanted to say. JC Newman has been killing it. The other cigar that I had right after the Andalusian Bull was the El Baton. I don't know if any of you have smoked the El Baton recently. Once again, thanks to Sal. Sal sent a couple of those out to me. I knew they were going to be good. I heard the feedback on it was good, but that cigar was actually outstanding as well too. And JC Newman has been batting 1,000. So let me do this. Let me volley this back to you guys. I know I've been talking about Cavalier. I've been talking about Principal. I've been talking about Dumbarton and Crown Heads, of course. And I've also been talking about JC Newman a lot lately. What brands for you guys are batting 1,000? Who out there for you guys are like really consistently making most cigars that are in their portfolio at the best? Bearded Cigar, what up, man? Thank you for joining in, homie. Who out there is really like, what is the brand that is the standout brand for you? That you can go down the line, like you say, if it was Foundation, you can say, oh, Tabernacle, the Havana Seed, and the Olmec, and go down the line and say, oh, they're hitting on all cylinders. Who's doing that for you guys? In the same vein, while we were thinking about that, on the Unbanded show, we were talking about how they felt like, that Fuente could be overrated. And I can honestly understand why some people have that opinion. I don't feel that way, because when I went back, especially during that show, I've talked about this before too, but when I really go back and look at it, most of their lines don't really stand out to me. For me, personally, I think Opus X is overpriced and overrated. And I think a few years ago, I could understand doing a Dominican tobacco when people were really either smoking only like those armchair cigars, like My Father blends, and those really rustic and heavy, leathery, woody cigars. And when you put out an Opus X, this is going to give you a very mild and smooth, sweeter profile. I can see why that would be a standout. And you're going to give an absolute shout out. Oh, wind's trying to take me away. Sorry about that. I'm trying to not to have my joint overheat, and the wind got me. All right. But anyway, I can see why people will feel that way about Opus X, because now with all the different blends that are coming out here, with all the different complexities, Opus X has been overpowered. But when you got God of Fire, when you have the Casa Fuente, when you have Hemingway, when you have the Chateau line, when you have the RSG, they're all batting 1,000. Don Carlos, of course, and Yeho. Think about how many I just rattled off right there. That's a stellar lineup. That's absolutely stellar. And they've done that over, decades of just great cigars like that. So I really can't call them overrated. It's just, for me, I think Opus X is overrated. Let me see. A lot of y'all, were kind of contributing in here. So I saw Warp, I saw Foundation as well, and I agree with those. Warp can kind of get one note for me. Warp and HVC and Illusione, I like their lines, but I couldn't put them in that upper echelon of like consistently batting 1,000. Even though I do agree that they have some absolutely phenomenal cigars, I just think sometimes they can get kind of one note. It was nice seeing you on the group stream with the Cigar Hound Dog and the other guys together. It was kind of cool, man. It's kind of funny, man, because you know, it's always good to hang out with the fellas. And when they were talking on the Unbanded about like how the new wave and Unbanded, and you got so many different other, everybody's just kind of hanging out with Joe Knows, and sometimes we hang out with Tim. It's just kind of cool to see everybody get together. Everybody sending each other bombs. You got everybody in here just sending bombs out to people. You got Bearded. You got Mike with Cigar Carpenter. Like we can go on and on. If you know, you know. Like it's so many people. Like everybody's just sharing cigars and vibing. But it was funny because I came on to actually do a live at that point in time, and I'm like, I'm gonna hop on when nobody else is on right now. I'm gonna surprise everybody, and boom, Matt and Joe Knows is up there, and it was dope to be able to chop it up with Fred too. It's always cool to chop it up with Fred. Cigar Head TV. It's just really dope to really be able to get that vibe. So it was nice that I didn't have to control the show that whole time. It was just kind of cool to hang out with the fellas and just have a good conversation about cigars, man. This is the best thing. This is the fun part for me. I've really gotten the feeling that there's certain people that don't like my opinion about how I feel or my opinions about why I stepped away from doing cigar reviews. I think it might be some people out there that think I'm like, making excuses on faking jack. So I'm just kind of fronting. But really, when I look at it, man, this is the most fun thing, just being able to talk cigars openly and to give opinions openly and to share perspectives and opinions with everybody else that is in the community. This has been a lot more just tantalizing for me. It's been a lot more fun, and it gives me a chance to just kind of defrag a little bit and not feel pressure to try to get sponsors or to try to get money or to try to get somebody else's attention on these cigars. And like I really like I lost a lot of the drive for all that. Not even talking about the editing side and all that other kind of stuff like that. It's just like I can come on and pop on and get 16 to 30 people just to sit back to hang out and talk cigars. And that's fun to me. And then to be able to see something so innovative like what Unbanded was just doing. And guys know, I mean, just a few minutes ago, I went and ranted and raved about how much of a phenomenal show that is and a phenomenal concept. It puts the fun back into cigars. It puts the fun back into developing your palate, and it puts the fun back into that thrill of the chase. Roger was talking about that FOMO thing. Like I don't have FOMO anymore. And that was a big thing when I started the channel with I Want to Smoke. My whole thing was trying to go out there and get the best cigars and see if I could smoke. And it's just hard to do in Japan. It was really hard to try to keep up with all that. But that thrill when your friends send you a bomb and you got a cigar that you've been wanting to have. Oh man, I got a Cuban now. I haven't had a Cuban in a while. Oh, this El Baton. I've really wanted this. Oh, now I get to try out this Year the Dragon that I had just been talking about so much. So let me kind of see what this is really about. That puts the excitement back in the cigar game again. Did I not mention the Chateau work? Because I know when I was on the Unbanded, when I was talking about Fuente, I definitely mentioned the Chateau. Because I really that was kind of like my way of getting into Fuentes without spending a lot of money. And I still felt like you got the level of quality from Fuente that you deserve when you have just your standard Don Carlos or you get the Chateau line, especially that sun grown. That caramel profile that you get out of that sun grown is absolutely outstanding. And I go back to those every now and then. And when I see them in stores, that it makes me want to buy them just because it's like that's kind of a happy place for Fuente for me. Esteban Carrera aren't very well known. This is from Usir, but Haven't tried the Cashmere, but the Unforsaken is average for a Maduro. I know the brand name. I haven't had a lot of. I've seen them, but I don't have a lot of it. Like I can see the band right now that you brought it up, but I haven't had a lot of them to give like what my opinion is on that. I can kind of take your word for it. That's something that I'm willing to try to see what if they really like that. But I definitely respect your opinion and your palate on those cigars. Uh, if you know, you know. Said haven't tried a bad Fuente yet. It's the brand. It got me into cigars. Me too. I talk about that all the time too. It's the brand that actually made me fall in love with cigars. Same here. I had sticks that were a few bucks and they're high end smokes. I may think some are overpriced, but never had a bad one. The only one that I really didn't like was the pink, the rare pink. The rare pink, I did not enjoy that. That's probably the first time that it was a Fuente that I was just like, I don't like it at all. And there were, some of the Opus X that I've tried. Like I wasn't really a big fan of the Lost City, and I know how popular the Lost City is, but it didn't move me. And I kept trying it again to see if it was going to improve, to see if I was going to like it a lot more. The Angel Share. I know John with Cigar Alchemist absolutely loves that cigar. So I want to, and once again, that's a palette that I absolutely trust. I want to try it again. Maybe it's just the mood that I was in that just wasn't the profile that I was looking for at the time, and it was too mild for me. But I was on vacation in Okinawa when I had that cigar. Fred saying Cavalier for him right now is that brand that is batting it out of the park. And I'm gonna rant and rave and talk about Cavalier until the cows come home. I feel the same about Principle. I know Peter isn't the biggest fan of Principle, but the other day, phenomenal cigar, outstanding. The Martinique, so good. You know what I mean? So like, and for me, the Time to Burn. I know Peter wasn't a big fan of that Time to Burn. I thought the Time to Burn was outstanding. So they've been on a great run for me too. That Black Gold was great. The Standard Gold, I wasn't really loving it, but I didn't hate it. But it just didn't hit as hard as the others from Principle for me. I also think across the brand, the board, Fuente is great. Met Carlito a few weeks ago. Shouts out to you for getting the chance to meet Carlito. And in Dallas, officially releasing the Legends collab Padron with the 250 a stick, 7K for a box. This Bahique price. They can get the fuck out of my face with that cigar, man. They really like. I know we went through. Everybody's talking about the whole thing, but where you spend your money and what money you have and all that kind of stuff. Whatever. But it's nothing that you're gonna tell me, just tobacco wise, that it's gonna make that cigar value wise worth $150 to $250 for a cigar. It's impossible. I don't care if you're going up to the top of Kilimanjaro to get this tobacco and they bring it all the way down from Kilimanjaro, and then you grow some special tobacco on the top of Mount Fuji, and then you got something that is like some hydroponic tobacco or whatever. It's not going to be worth $150 for one stick. It's just logically that does not make sense to me. And I know that they're trying to do the story behind it with the legacy of Fuente and Don Padron and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But you can do that same thing, and you can make this fancy box, and you can still have that cigar be, at a price point that is absolutely reasonable. But there's some people who are going to be willing to go out and buy a Maserati. They're going to be willing to go out and buy a Lamborghini, or they're going to be willing to buy a 911 and all this other kind of stuff. And if they got the money and that's what they want to spend their money on, so be it. I'm just not that type of cat. It's not too much that you're going to be able to put into that car or that tobacco that's going to make me feel like it's worth even more, especially when you can only drive it at a certain time of day, or you can only drive it in a certain area, in a certain place. For me, I'm going to feel like, let me get just, whatever car that, is going to get me from point A to point B, and it's going to have the amenities that I like. And that's the way that I'm looking at cigars. It's very few cigars that I want to jump on. I will spend money for an Atabey. I'll spend money for an Ida Sharp. I'll spend money for an Añejo. I'll spend money for, it's a couple of cigars out there that I will spend $20 or $30 for, but it's very rare that I'm gonna go above and beyond for that. It has to have some kind of sentimental value to me. I'm not in that FOMO mode where I just want to jump out the window and buy a $7,000 box just to show somebody like, look at what I got. That's just not me. That's not my personality, and I can't knock anybody else for being willing to do that. Bombs are great and they do help a lot, man. And that's what really makes this community love, man. When people are willing to share and willing to, try to entice somebody else's palate, try to show somebody else something else that they don't have, or just try to beef up somebody's humidor. It's just a cool thing to do, man. Texas, what up, homie? Glad to see you up in here. Peter said I had so much fun picking cigars out for the Unbanded episodes and guests, man. That has to be fun, man. That has to be fun. And it's just such a cool idea, man. And just as a community, man, I got to say that we're grateful for you for just the amount that you do for people in the cigar community as well. But to come up with that show and to have something that's fun and just excites the brain to do it, man. I'm glad you're doing that, man. It means a lot. Sal said, I enjoy the live format and find it more interesting because it involves community. I think we have an amazing community in comparison to everyday society. And I think it's cool. You know what's kind of cool about that, Sal, is my wife is out working today, and it's Saturday here for us. And on the military base, they're having what is called Friendship Day. Friendship Day is when they open up the base for all the Japanese nationals to be able to come out to the base, and everybody gets to hang out. And they got a Michelin star chef out there that's making Japanese curry for people. They got all these Japanese people lining up at Taco Bell and at the pizza spot because they get to try American food and all that kind of stuff. And it's just real cool to, have all these people, come out and hang out together. So my wife was hanging out with some of her coworkers, and she was actually telling, some of her coworkers about me and just kind of talking in general. And I guess one of the ladies' husbands is really into cigars. And he was like, oh, your husband's into cigars. I bet he doesn't have more cigars than I do. She was like, I don't know. He got a lot of cigars. I ain't got more cigars than him. I know I don't. But I am excited, because the dude he's in the culinary arts. I'm excited for him to check out the channel. I'm excited for him to to actually get to chill with him and smoke cigars with him. So it might be just a cool night that I just get to meet somebody new and just to sit back and smoke with somebody that I never met before. And that's just being brothers of the leaf. That is cigars bringing two people together that probably would have never met beforehand. That's what this whole thing is about, dude. And you can't get much better than that. That's absolutely love. Work said I'm smoking a Habano Asylum 13, and it's pretty flavorful. I don't really get much into the Asylums. I do want to try the Medulla and the Oblongata. I got a couple of those down there. It's something about Asylum that actually kind of turned me off, and I don't know exactly what it is. I can't put my finger on it completely, and it's weird because I love like the Aroa line. I love CLE. I love Christian Aroa. I love Adino. So you would think that Asylum would fit in that same pocket for me, but it's just rare times that I actually did have those cigars. They just didn't really do it for me. They didn't light it up, and the marketing on those cigars don't really draw me in like that. Erica sent me a Black Gold and a Time to Burn. I should get into those soon. Mike, get into those, man, because I really, 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 really want your opinion on that, especially that Black Gold. Time to Burn is a cigar that I absolutely love, but like the Black Gold for me was like the first time I had that thing. It hit in a certain way, so I want to see how you break that cigar down. Yosef said JC Newman does make good cigars. They have the Artur for what they make their Dominican line. I think their Nicaraguas are their own factory. You should look into their American-made line. I think about the VA. That American dude is crazy. If you go back, that's one of the last reviews that I did. I did the Angel Cuesta, and I did the review for the American, and I gave both of those just like high remarks. I love them both. The American, I might go downstairs. I almost grabbed the Angel Cuesta. Since this Cuban didn't work out, I might have to go downstairs if I'm going to have another cigar. You guys let me know if I should go and do another one. I might go down there and grab the American or the Angel Cuesta just because I haven't had them in a few months. And I absolutely love those cigars. JC Newman is another brand that it's just been stellar for me. Ben said Davidoff discontinued the Oro Blanco. I don't have FOMO. It's okay to never. It's okay. I'm never gonna have it again. It's funny, man, because lately in the Davidoff line, I know Peter just recently had a Davidoff Maduro. He was speaking highly of that, but the Oro Blanco and the Millennium is the cigars that people have been ranting and raving about. As far as Davidoff. Me personally, I've been really into the Nicaragua and the Yamasa. Those are the ones that have stood out the most for me. I don't think I've ever had the Oro Blanco. I don't have FOMO, but I am curious if it ever, comes across, because the Davidoff that I had the other day, I had the Davidoff number 2. Shouts out to Dave. Dave Bape sent that to me, man. That cigar was, it was outstanding. It was really good, especially for a Davidoff. That was stellar. It was really good. Roast beef is in the place to be. He said, "What's good, my guy? What's good with you?" I smoked one of those black market. That's the lead yesterday. It was way better than the regular black market. Yes, it is. It is a big difference with those. Y'all were talking about the Ron Mexico review. Yeah, the S lead does stand out a little bit more, and that was probably like the last time I've had one, because I didn't like the black market either, man. Um, I kind of want to go back and view them again. I'm very hard on Alec Bradley cigars. I'm very hard on Alec Bradley and Alec and Bradley, except for the Kintsugi and the Magic Toast. But outside of that, I'm really kind of tough on those lines. But it is worth trying again to kind of see what's cracking with that. Let's see, getting ready to smoke Long Live the King Maduro. Good luck with that cigar, bro. That's what I'm gonna say about that one. You are one of the few artists I trust. So when you say a cigar is good, I believe you, dog. And if you get it, I get it. And it's, man, I gotta say, man, when people give me that compliment, it's one of the best compliments that you can ever get. And it's something like when I was doing reviews, I really I took my palate very serious. So whenever I get that compliment, man, that's like the highest honor for me. So Fred, thank you for that, man. I don't. It's hard for me to just kind of take compliments in general, but I do kind of take pride in that. So that means a lot, bro. And especially like to have people want to come in and to watch the channel and to hang out and to in a time frame when you are definitely being an influencer, to really hold your opinion and your perspective into some form of esteem. It means a lot, dude, because it doesn't always go that way. It doesn't always go that way, because you get people. Let's take Rob, the Insomniac. There were a lot of people who were crushing his palate, and so much so that he took on that moniker as garbage palate, and garbage palate gang and all that kind of stuff. And I can honestly say that I got lucky that with the majority of the channel, with the feedback that I get in the comments, like you guys are doing now, when I get the comments just from the channel on the show, even going back to the old show, it was very rare that I actually got like a lot of negative feedback, and especially negative feedback from my palate. And when you're doing something that is so subjective, like giving your opinion on a flavor profile and flavor notes, and giving descriptors and adjectives to break down a cigar, to have people to trust your perspective and your opinion, that's hard to do, man. So I can only give thanks, man, and I can only be grateful for y'all to actually take the time to give me that kind of feedback and to give me that kind of motivation, because people could easily just say like, yo, I don't mess with EKB. I don't like the way he talks about the cigars. I don't like his opinion on cigars. And it can be nerve wracking. It could be, it just, you can be insecure at times about like how, your opinion is going to affect your viewers. It matters. And I've been lucky. Like, I know I don't have a big channel, but to even make it to 4,000 subscribers and to slowly continue to grow like that, and I'm only doing lives right now, it means a lot that you guys always show up and then you always show out, and that you always kind of give me the motivation to kind of like, okay, I am doing the right thing. So that means a lot, yo. Appreciate you, babe. Yo, That cigar was sitting for 20 years, man. Dude, are you serious? That Davidoff is 20 years old? Are you serious? Yo, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. And like, so check it. Let's talk about that. 2003. That's nuts, bro. That's absolutely nuts. I didn't know that at the time that I'm lighting that bad boy up. I thought it was an older Davidoff. I didn't realize it was that old. But for it to maintain and to still have these sweet notes that it had, it was a distinct vanilla note, vanilla bean note that was in that cigar that just kept growing. It didn't washed out. It didn't get powdery. It didn't get dried out. That thing was mwah. Yo. So thank you for that, bro. Wow. I had wow. I had no idea. I had a cigar the other day that Matt from Cigar Hound Dog sent me was a Padilla that he had. He said he had been aging that thing for about 10 years or so, and that thing was outstanding too. And that I had it like right after another cigar that was really good, and it kind of blew me away. So maybe like the aging thing does something, man. Maybe it is a lot more to it. Because I always wonder when people like you have these like when you have these pre-embargo Cubans and whatnot, and it's like, does that cigar still taste like anything? Like, is there any tobacco? Is there any oils left in this cigar? And is it gonna hold up? But to have a $20-year-old cigar that actually sustained and probably tastes a lot better than it did fresh, because that thing was amazing. But on the other end of the spectrum, Master Your Ash sent me a really old Añejo that was probably like close to that same amount of age on it. And the Añejo is already well aged and it already has like, a lot of fermentation in there. And you can taste it when they're fresh to me. When you get that sweet cherry note, it's really good. The one that I had that was like, almost 20 years old didn't have nearly as much flavor. It was still good, but it just didn't live up to my expectations of what an Añejo is normally like. So that kind of soured me a little bit on aging cigars. But between that Padilla and between that Davidoff #2, outstanding, absolutely outstanding. He said, I have a few more if you want to swap some again. We can definitely swap again, bro. I'm here for that. Grabbed a bunch of sticks back home too. No rush, no doubt. What did you grab while you were back in the States, man? Let me know. I usually don't say anything, but I really like to listen to these lives when I catch them. Humidor highlights, man. Thank you, man, for chiming in, man. That you know, there was another cat that used to come in here named Jason. He would always kind of lurk in the background too, and he wouldn't say much, but he had the same feeling, man. He was just like, I like listening to it, and he would chime in. I haven't seen Jason in a while, man. I hope he would pop up, man. But that's kind of cool when you got the lurkers that decide they want to chime in. You always welcome to share whatever your opinions are, whatever your thoughts are here. This is a judgment-free zone, man, and we always just gonna have fun chopping it up. So Fran said that Chupacabra was fire. I never had that cigar, man. Once again, you guys are palates that I actually trust. I trust your opinion on cigars. So if that ever comes across, man, I'm actually try that out. Y'all let me know. Will y'all stay around if I go downstairs to grab another stick? Because this is almost to the end. I'm like Peter, man. I smoke pretty fast. He said, God damn, that sucker older than my oldest kid. Right, it's right there with my oldest. That's crazy, yeah. Yeah, but the thing is, all right, flood the DM. Do that. All right, stay around for me, guys, because I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to grab another cigar in just a minute. Anybody got their hands on ESPN right now? What are my Warriors looking like, man? Did they turn the game around? Did they do the third quarter Warriors thing? Let me know what's happened. Yeah, you would say he'll be here chilling in the back. I appreciate it, homie. What you drinking on tonight? If you know, what you got going, man? halfway through that Encore Black. What do you think about that Encore Black, man? I've been hearing good things about that cigar. I'm actually kind of curious because I do want to say they lost. Damn. Appreciate you, Balak. Balak. My bad. Damn, that sucks. Anyway, what was I had another thought, man. You can see that loss kind of took me out of it. I had another thought. What was I gonna say? Oh, the Encore Black. I was gonna talk about EP Carrillo, and I wanted to talk about that line that he's doing. Just that whole EPC line, just between the La Historia, the Encore, and the Pledge, and now the Allegiant and the Encore Black. That's a really good line. It's just all the way through. It's a really good line. The one that I liked the least was the Allegiance, but I did have to come back and give an apology to EP Carrillo because I dogged that cigar out. We're gonna talk about the Lakers in a second, man. I'll talk to you about that. But I dogged that Allegiance out. But when I went back to it and tried it again, I really appreciated that cigar. And what I liked about the fact that just like each one of those cigars, you guys know I talk about this a lot. They have a different profile, and they kind of go from like more full body to more medium to full to a light cigar. And I want to see where that black fits because the black is. I want to see if it's going to give it a more coffee-esque, a deeper, darker, profile to kind of fit in with that line because that way it gives something for everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like it has like it covers pretty much the whole spectrum as far as the different flavor profiles and the different palettes. And I was so anti on that Allegiance at first, but like you need a mild cigar sometimes. You need a lighter note that's gonna give you like more sweeter cinnamon like notes and gonna be something that's gonna be more light woods and light on the palate. And to me that makes sense. And I understood what he was doing by adding that into the portfolio. I understood where he was going with that. And I thought that was a great thing. It's just like I don't think I was ready for it when it first came out. So but talking about how blenders work and to be able to make a full portfolio and to give a diverse palette for people to enjoy on their palette, and I'm using the different types of palettes when I'm saying that, but I think it gives you a nice broad profile. Just staying in one, you can just stay in that EP Carrillo line, and you got something for each mood that you might be in, or each time of the day, or something like that. So I think it's really smart. So honestly, I want to give a lot of kudos to that. So I was really curious about the black to see how that was going to fit. Ben said the Encore Black is good. Little open draw, so gotta not smoke too fast. I know how that goes. So that's kind of how this one was too. I kind of burned through this Silver Mesa Brulee for the same reason. A lot of layers, but a great blend. Yes, dark coffee is there, kind of light spice and sweet too. So it sounds like it's really balanced, and that's honestly what I was hoping for with that cigar. That's the profile that I was hoping it was going to lean into because you really don't get that. Like even with the Astoria, it's similar to that, but I don't think it's going to be as roasted and as dark. So that sounds really good. He said he's smoking the Herrera Esteli Norteño. It's pretty good. I think I mentioned that a while back as kind of like a new classic, and it's really good. But getting that kind of like, I can only imagine what that Hollywood experience is like, and when it's like a lot is put on to be superficial, and it's a part of it's a part of the career, it's a part of the job. One thing that I tried to do, Beard, was when I was making the vintage cigar. One of the main things that I put in my bio is that I wanted this to be like coming into a lounge. So it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter what your religious background is. It doesn't matter what your political background is. It doesn't matter, like, what style of cigars that you like to smoke, whether it's infused, whether it is premium tobacco, whether you like budget cigars. I wanted people to be able to come in and get in an environment where they could just chop it up. My audio is gone? Okay, I'm back. Okay, good, good. You scared me for a second there. I got this new mic, so I got scared that it dropped out on you. But yeah, that was the kind of environment. I wanted everybody to be able to come in here and let their head down and be able to chill. And the community has grown so much with a whole lot of different people. Like, honestly, with a lot of the people that I kick it with, y'all know I dig Matt, just as a person. And he's really a cool cat, man. And I was saying that on another live, like, that a lot of people don't really get to see, what he's like. They get to see the reviewer, but just to get to chill with Matt as a dude is really cool. But when it comes to people like Roger and it comes to people like John, those are two of the most down to earth dudes that are on the planet. And it's really cool just to be able to, to chop it up and to hang out with people that are just so down to earth and just so chill. You know what I'm saying? And like, we were on the Unbanded podcast just a moment ago, and you were there too, and everybody's just kind of chopping up, having a conversation about their kids. That part, like, that's the stuff that I love, man. That's the stuff that I miss, being able, like, when I lived in Fresno, man, I could just go into a lounge and I could chop it up with people that, they got their button up shirts on and their starts to the nines and they got $1,000 shoes on. And then it could be another cat that's in there with some old Chuck Taylors on and some Dickies. And we all just sitting there having a great conversation and just chopping it up, talking about our family, talking about business, talking about cigars. That's the vibe, B. I did a live just the other day with my man G and and Kendall, and we were just talking about music. We talking about, like, the beef between J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. We're talking about Beyonce. We were talking sports. That's just like, man, it's nothing better than sitting with cool people and just talking cigars and talking life shit, man. So appreciate you. Matt is that dude, man. And I appreciate you for joining in, man, and taking the time to hang out with me, especially with, with such a career and, and to, talk about your life experiences. I would love just to hear what it's like, working in film and TV. I got a friend of mine who, from another website that I hang out on. He's a writer for TV shows, and that dude always got stories, just, writing for a lot of cool shows. And it's also good that when you're watching a show and you see your friend's name pop on a show or something like that, that's always been a dream of mine, man. I would love to be able to, get into that. Even do something as simple as like voice acting or something, man. So shouts out to you, dude. That's major. Hanging out here with you and also the SSL cats. Those are good dudes too, man. Made me feel very welcome. That's the goal, brother. You were more than welcome here. And made me feel confident to journal my developing palate as a newbie. And it was cool, man, because recently, man, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I swear I'm not. But it's just when people recently have said that, I introduced them to certain cigars, or I introduced them and gave them the motivation to get into reviewing cigars and to just kind of follow whatever aspiration they wanted to follow. I'm just a regular dude here in Japan, but that's just kind of cool to have people to feel like that, the same way I was inspired to, hop on and do it, that other people were inspired by me. And, I gave them a helping hand to go far beyond anything that I could ever do in this space, which is really cool, man. And that's one of the best compliments that you could ever receive, man. It's super dope. Cigars are the great equalizer. That's a great way to put it. It puts everybody on the same playing field. And, whether you're smoking $100 Padron or $100 Unicorn, or you're smoking, a factory smoke, or whatever the case may be, somewhere in the middle. If you're smoking a Juarez, everybody can kind of come to the table, light up their cigar, and enjoy that moment. And, you're going to sit back and smoke for an hour or 2 hours or whatever you're doing. It's a beautiful thing, man. We smoked the My Father La Antiquidad. Am I saying that right, Rob? Pleasant surprise. I don't had that one, man. And, what did you get from that cigar? I don't think I've had that one. I would love to hear what your thoughts were on that. Yeah, it's definitely all sitting around something that we love, Sal. Uh, you hype for the UFC tomorrow? Who's fighting on the card, man? I haven't been up on UFC as much lately, just because I've been so focused on the NBA, and this playoff time for me right now, so that's where my focus has been. And outside of that, man, I've been so busy just in general that I haven't had a chance. I don't even know who's on the card anymore. Is this 300? Are we finally at 300? Is that the card that's coming up right now? Any women fighting? Y'all let me know what's going on. It's all about the vibe, man. That's what we're doing. He said, "Who isn't fighting on this card?" It is. I know 300 is a big card, man. I know it's big. I know. I just don't know. I haven't followed along to see who was up there. Who you got as a favorite right now? Who are your standouts? I got chocolate notes for the most part and a little bit of spice. That sounds fantastic to me. That sounds outstanding. I need to see that. Holly Holmes is fighting. Word. I love Holly, man. Holly got good hands. Thoughts on Tyson versus the Jake Paul fight? I've talked about that recently, man. As much as I love Mike Tyson, it's a money grab. But fighters want to fight, and that's the main thing. Like, Tyson is almost 60 years old, but that fighter is still in him. Even though, like, he's had those moments where he didn't have the same hunger as he had before, and he was saying, like, I don't want that guy to come out again. I don't want to be that guy again. That touched me when Mike was talking about that, man. But there is still always going to be, when your body can't live up to it anymore. As a martial artist, even with me, like, I can't kick the way that I used to. I'm not nearly as flexible as I used to be. But there's still times when I'm walking by a heavy bag, I got to throw a few jabs at it. I got to still see if the reflexes are still there. I got to see if I still got the head movement. You know what I mean? So, like, you never lose that fighting spirit. It never goes anywhere. As far as Jake Paul, man, it's just kind of crazy to have, somebody that's on steroids and is literally using this to be a Conor McGregor type, just to pad his bank account. And it's smart and it's savvy, but I can't really see him as a pure fighter right now. And I know that, like, I'm really not for the steroid era. It doesn't move me at all. It really kind of takes me out of. Pereira's fighting. Ooh. I might have to pull that up. Peter said, you and Hound Dog a big inspiration for me starting TBC, man. Look, well, we tuned in, man. We respect it. We both. I'll speak for Matt on this one too, man. We both hope to see you do great things. So we're gonna follow along, man. We're gonna be there, man. So shouts out to you, man. Thank you. You're inspiring us too. Oliveira's fighting. Okay, that's gonna be a good fight too. I'll be smoking the lineup of cigars, watching that whole UFC. I mean, I wish I could do that, Humidor. Man, I wish I had it like a spot where I could just have my TV set up and just have my handmade ashtray and a good cold drink and just sit back and watch a good fight, man. That is like, man, I want that so bad. And I really wish that I could just kind of I could kind of build that for myself, where I could just have a spot where I could just go and sit back and watch fights, man. I would love that, dude. We'll just sit back and watch the NBA playoffs. Gaethje is fighting in Holloway too. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the fight of the night. That's probably gonna be the fight of the night right there. Just because both of those dudes are gonna put it all on the table, man. I don't know. I don't want to say Holloway is past his prime, but he's a dog. He's an absolute dog. So that might be the best, man. Yeah, we just bought a new projector too, man. But it's in our tatami room, man, and there's no way I can smoke in there, man. My wife would kill me if I tried to smoke in this house, man. Like, she would stab me in my sleep, bro. It would be no more vintage cigar if I tried to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna catch it, man. I'll be around tomorrow. I did tell somebody I was gonna link up with him tomorrow, but I'll probably be around for the fight. Hey, y'all talk amongst yourselves right now. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow this thing down. I'm gonna try to set it up so it doesn't fall over. But stay right there. Let me go get one more cigar, and we're gonna come back and chop it up for a little bit. Don't go nowhere. don't know if y'all can hear me, but I'm almost there. Hopefully I'm reconnecting right now. Hopefully I didn't lose my connection. Microphone check 1 2 1 2. Am I loud and clear? Can y'all hear the boy? I don't know which one connected. Dave said he's taking over the show. Yeah, send y'all cigars to the homie Dave, yo. Yo, that's good. That's good. He said, y'all like any Ligas? What's the best H99? Ah, man, that's a tough one, man. I have a Toro, a Suancho, but thinking of grabbing the Lancero H99. H99 is good, man. I don't know. I like those, but I've been kind of going back and forth between the H99 and the T52. It's hard to say for me on that one. Do you count the Feral Pig? Is that counted? I think that's counted in the Liga Provider line. The Feral Pig, if that's the case, is going to be my absolute favorite. I love boxing so much. I used to reference in my I did see that in the videos, Fred. You know, I used to throw them in there too, man. I love boxing all day. I was just talking about that with Matt and Joe Knows. This mad mofo is okay. Yeah, at least it was okay for you, man. I was expecting to be less than that, to be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest. Its flavor is kind of inconsistent. Sounds about right. It comes and goes. Yeah, that sounds like how it usually works. Got some smoking a little fast. Now I don't think that's it, man. That's just that cigar. All right. Rob said we good with the audio. I haven't decided on the exact lineup, but I'm thinking about the Monte Cristo Espada. I remember that cigar, but I don't really have any much of opinion on that. But that's a good way to start. I miss the old boxing days though. Riddick Bowe, Tyson, Holyfield, watching old Joe Louis fights. Honestly, man, I was thinking about that the other day, Fred, man, where I miss when the smaller fighters were getting busy, man. I miss, like, you know, Tito Trinidad, Kasha Zoo, and, you know, Zab Judah, Mayweather before, you know, he started running from people. Prince Nassim. That's when I was really enjoying boxing, man. You know, Mickey Ward, like that. That's when I was like really hype on boxing. But then, like, boxing got too jacked up when it came to the whole, you know, judging and all that kind of stuff, and the judging got really suspect. And then everybody wanted to have like undefeated, you know, and instead of like actually going out and really boxing, everybody was ducking each other. So boxing kind of lost a lot of the luster for me, man. There's some good fighters out there right now. I love Tank. I love Shakur. You know, I love Crawford. You know, there's some good boxers, but it's just not the same, man. It don't have the same magic because everybody want to stay undefeated. So you don't have the days when it was like, you know, Tommy Hearns and Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, you know, dang, I just forgot my man name, Emmanuel. But you don't have the days where people would just put, you know, blood, sweat, and tears on the line. They didn't care if they lose. They just wanted to go out there and had the best fight, and they were trying to beat the best. That's the part that I love. So I ended up grabbing the American. I got the Robusto because I don't think I'm gonna stay out here but for so long. So I did that. What the fuck did I do with my cutter, B? All right, here we go. So I really wanted to have this American again, man. I really enjoyed the cigar, and I've been talking up JC Newman kind of crazy. So why not go with the JC Newman? Yeah, Prince Nassim was different, man. He really was a different fighter. I was gonna say Zab Judah. You gotta love Zab, man. I used to train with Rafael Ruiz. He was famous for getting knocked out by De La Hoya. Great guy though. It's kind of funny when, like, De La Hoya was a bad boy too, man. I hate to see what De La Hoya has turned into right now, but, like, look, dude, if you don't get knocked out by anybody, getting knocked out by somebody of that stature, that's not really a bad thing, man. that's that's not really a bad thing. So I would take that one on the chin. I mean, at least you got beat by one of the all time greats. You feel it? Yeah, that's what's wrong with boxing. Either nobody wants to fight each other, or the promoters are hiding their fighters, or the judging. Man, the judging got really bad. Shouts out to Sweet Pea Whitaker, man. I was talking about Sweet Pea the other day, man. That's Virginia's finest, man. 2 up, 2 down on that one. That's Virginia's finest right there. Like probably one of the most underrated fighters ever is Sweet Pea. But it's just funny, man. It's like drugs really take people out of the game, man. It's really kind of a jacked up thing. I should have got a lighter while I was down there. It's really kind of messed up, man. That the drugs really kind of ruin some of the greatest that have ever done it. Yeah, man, he did fire up that encore, man. He good flavors to it, so that was a good thing, man. I love that y'all chop it up with each other too, man. And it's not just me chopping it up, man. Y'all got your own relationships, man, and everybody vibing with each other. That's really a cool thing. Once again, we talked about community here, man. That's everything. I'm actually excited about this cigar. Give me a sec, yo. I'm trying to make sure this bad boy is lit. PA Broadleaf has been one of the standouts. When you think about all the different things that, like, all the different type of cigars, like I know Cigar Carpenter was really kind of like over Mexican San Andres and Broadleaf and stuff like that. But Pennsylvania Broadleaf is one of those that's been kind of a standout for me recently. That Padilla that I had that Matt sent to me was Pennsylvania Broadleaf. That has been fantastic. Sumatra has been treating me really good too. But I love that people are kind of branching out to different wrapper leaves and using, a lot of different fillers in there and stuff like that. The whole thing with the time to burn is using that Zimbabwean tobacco has been amazing. That's actually stood out to me and been really good. Yeah, retro, like you get a lot of really cool notes from San Andreas and Broadleaf. So I understand why they reached the popularity that they have had recently, and I'm not mad at it at all. But cigars in general right now are kind of monkey see, monkey do copycat thing, and that's all right. That's all right. As long as I feel like everybody is really putting together something that's going to be fantastic. When we were talking about all the different brands and people who are out there who are making consistent cigars and doing something, like one thing about Sanj is like he's putting out consistent cigars, and from his Cameroon, like everybody's jumping on the Cameroon bandwagon right now, which is a good thing, honestly, but it's going to get burned out soon. But his Maduro is really good. The Habano is really good, and they all taste different. So there's a plus to the way things are going with cigars right now. Don't know if you seen the email I sent, but Guy Fieri's Knuckle Sandwich Maduro was absolute fire. I don't doubt it. Why do I not doubt it? Because of Espinosa. Just like I think somebody else chimed in to say that. Yeah, but I like Espinosa. I like his cigars, especially his Maduros. They are really, really good. My whole thing is not anything to do with Espinosa. It's Guy Fieri. So it's gonna be hard for me to take my own personal bias away with that. It's gonna be difficult, and I know that. I'm conscious of that. So I don't want y'all to think I'm just kind of being difficult to be difficult. Ben said I'm still really curious on Aladino Cameroon Reserva. I can't find it. Can't find where to get it though. The Cameroon Puro is interesting for sure. Is it a Puro? I don't know if I ever looked into it that much to see if it was a Puro. I do know that I have to try that cigar again. I have to try the Ellie again, just because it just didn't hit for me that time. And I don't know if it was just the circumstance. I don't know if it was just, I wasn't in the mood for it. I was on vacation when I had that cigar, and I was in the cold outside smoking that cigar, and it didn't really ring a bell for me. But the next day, when I had the Night Commander was stellar. So it's like I don't know if it was just me or if it was the cigar. And I don't know when I'm gonna get a chance to have that cigar again, but I do want to try it again. I do want to give it a good run. I personally like the Aladino Cameroon, the OG, but I know how it can turn some people off because it does give you like this chalky taste. But it gave me this apple peel profile that I thought was beautiful, man. And it was a really sweet cigar. And I had it in a smaller Batoda. I think it was a Corona each time that I've had that. I know I had like one of the larger ring gauges, and it wasn't as good. I think that chalkiness was a little bit too strong. So I don't know, man. I got to give that one a little bit more time to see how it goes. Brendan said I had the LFD Maduro cab recently. It was great. LFD gets busy, man, and that Maduro is really good. You get a lot of rich, full, uh, you know, very earthy coffee-esque notes in there. But the thing is, man, it's not like a bitter hit to the face. It's very. I don't want to say creamy, but it's smooth, and that's what's really good. Sal said I just finished the Espinosa Murcielago, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. I've had a couple of the Murcielagos, and I really did I did enjoy them. I think it was the most recent one that he had. I think that's the one that I enjoyed the most. If my memory is serving me correctly on that one, I think that was the one I enjoyed the most. Once again, I rock with Espinosa. I would probably say my favorites right now out of that line would probably be either not that line, but out of his portfolio would either be the Crema, the Laranja, or the Azulejo. And those are the ones that have really kind of been my favorites from Espinosa. The Ellie is just wrapper. The Reserva is new. Oh, okay. And you saying the Reserva is a Puro? I'm interested in that. Yeah, that TAA Marcielago. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. That thing was solid. That was an absolutely solid cigar. For you, does cold weather have an effect on your cigar experience? Just from my experience in general, right? When we used to make like pates, or we used to make uh, a gazpacho or carpaccio or something like that when I was in culinary school. When we would make cold dishes, we would season them a lot more because like it's just like when you get cold and you get goosebumps, you kind of have a similar effect on your tongue. Like when you're cold, like everything kind of shrinks up to protect itself. So I wondered like if it's the same thing with cigars. But this is nothing scientific about it as far as with the cigar profile, because usually your mouth is going to stay at a decent temperature regardless, right? You're going to stay within that 96 degrees or whatever the case may be, usually, because the smoke of the cigar is usually not going to be too cold. But to me, it's more of a psychological thing. When you're like your hands are cold and you're cold and you're like your brain is thinking about something like getting back inside of a building or trying to keep itself warm, has a effect on how you're really going to sit back and enjoy your cigar. And I think that, like, I wonder if like I was at a point where it's just like I wasn't like ready for that cigar. I wasn't bundled up enough, and I wonder like if the cold affected the palate. I don't know, but I just thought like I was gonna get more from that cigar, especially with Peter was like, dude, you stop wasting time. You got to get on this cigar. And and I was like, I love Cameroon. I love Aladino. So I was thinking like this is no way that this can miss. But in that moment, it didn't hit. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't like those cigars where you guys know, and I can go on a diatribe and like, yo, this cigar tasted like air, or it tasted like a paper bag, or it tasted like ash or something. It wasn't that. It didn't come with that. It just didn't come with anything like the cigars that I've recently had that I was just telling you guys about that like actually blew me away. It wasn't and that's kind of what I was expecting. I got more from that the next day with the Night Commander. Aventura is batting 1,000 too, low key, bro. I was talking about that too, Fred. And I really dig Aventura. And what is the one? It's like Rosa or Barbacoa, something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's the one with kind of like the gray, reddish band on it. That's the one that I like the least out of all of them that I had. But if you talk about like the Navigator, if you talk about the Conqueror, if you talk about the Queen's Return, if you talk about the Royal Return, like phenomenal. Like not even just good, they're phenomenal. They've been outstanding, and that's what I was saying. Like I was trying to send them out to Peter. Was like, yo, you got to try Aventura because it's fire. So I would definitely put them in that group of consistent hitters for just like a solid portfolio where they really batting a really high rate. Let's see, cold weather. I put the shade cigars away and smoke more rustic or Maduros and cold. And that makes sense. And it's kind of the same thing that I was saying about like when I'm making cold dishes, I increase the spices and I increase the salt and I increase all the acids and everything in there because you want to open the palate up when you're cold. And it would kind of make sense to, it's just like when you can drink something that's going to warm you up on the inside, when you're going to drink a cider or you're going to drink a whiskey that's going to heat you up, internally. I think that can make a difference. So Enzo said it affects his experience too. Mike, I dig it with the Rabito format 6.5, 46. Good thing I live in Cali where it skips all that shitty seasons. Yeah, man. It makes a difference, bro. Because like where I am here in Japan, we get all 4 seasons. And right now it's warm as a bitch out here. Like, but it's not like to the point where it's making me want to go inside. It's actually pretty good. And I feel like like my usually my experience is a lot better when I'm sitting in this climate. And I don't miss having to have the coat on while I'm smoking and all that. And I don't miss having the bubble coat. I'm glad we're finally in a place where I can just sit back and chill and it's closer to Cali weather. Yeah, Mike, I see what you're saying in there about the Aventuras, and I'm kind of with you on that one, bro. I ain't gonna say it sucks, but it is not. It's the least. It is the least of everything in that line because they really got busy. That one just didn't hold up to the rest of them for sure. Matty boys up in here, bro. Hey man, eat some local moco for me while you out there, man. Get some really good pineapple too, bro. What's up, Matt? I hope you enjoying the vacation, man. I'm glad you're taking the time to chill with me on the vacation too, bro. That means a lot, man. I know it got to be lit out there though. I know it's lit if you at a luau right now. Get some good barbecue for me. I know they got some nice pork that's been roasted up. I ain't gonna put Matt on blast like that, man. I ain't gonna get him in trouble, yo. That's super cool, man. They got some taco rice out there too. Maybe a banging ass ceviche. I know you eating good out there, man. Upper 80s already in Vegas. Vegas is lit, bro. Y'all out there scorching already. That's crazy. We still like in the like. I think today might be like high 60s, low 70s. Yo, I just got mad out of nowhere, man, that my Warriors lost, man. To the Pelicans. Dang, that just hit me out of nowhere, y'all. I'm sorry that I know that was just kind of like random, man, but that just kind of hit me. Dang. I don't know if I need a palate cleanser or not, but this American is smoking beautifully, but I'm not getting as many flavors as I normally get out of this. Here's the thing with the Lakers, man. Y'all just barely won y'all game today, and y'all were playing a garbage team too. I can't even remember who y'all were playing no more, man. Y'all won by 1 point, 1 freaking point, and I know the refs helped out on that. But I'm glad that we're in this race right now with the Lakers. We each got one more game, but if we end up in the 10th spot, 9th and 10th spot respectively, I know we can beat the Lakers. And everybody's like, "Oh, Anthony Davis is gonna be, too hard for y'all to deal with." I'm not really worried about that though. It's just like the expectation of going up against the Lakers is gonna be a beautiful thing, and to be able to beat the Lakers to get into the playoffs is gonna be wonderful, man. Because the Lakers don't really have that great of team chemistry right now. Y'all got all the right players. Y'all got Anthony Davis. Y'all got LeBron. Y'all got Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura. Y'all got everything lined up, but y'all always find a way to collapse unless y'all get extra free throws. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see how this goes down in these next few days. I'm waiting to see how everything shakes out. I'm actually kind of hyped to play the Lakers. All right, debate question. I've heard the other day, and I want to take it here. Is LeBron better than Kobe? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And here's why I say this. Because with the Lakers, Kobe was always with the Lakers. Same thing with Steph Curry. He stayed there through good teams, bad teams, and whatever. And to be honest with you guys, when Kobe was playing in the NBA, I did not like Kobe. I've never liked the Lakers. I did not like Kobe. But one thing that I can say about Kobe is, as far as his strategy to be able to win games and to go against the best and to step up and to be the best on the court, Kobe did that. The thing about LeBron and that I do not respect about LeBron is that LeBron always has to have help. And I'm not saying that in the sense that, like, I know basketball is a team sport. You always got to play with your team. But LeBron literally spent his entire career chasing players that can help his game where he had deficiencies. He always chased players that can save any one of his championships that he had. If it wasn't for D Wade, if it wasn't for Ray Allen, if it wasn't for Kyrie Irving, if it wasn't for Anthony Davis, he never would have had any of the championships. They always bailed him out. He had to go from the Cavaliers to Miami to Cavaliers to the Lakers in order to win. He was doing this in the Eastern Conference for the majority of the time. And the Eastern Conference during that time frame was straight garbage. And whenever you to a point where you lose or the game is not going your way, and when you quit the team, I cannot call you a great player. And that's the one thing that always separated LeBron from anybody that I consider great, be it Michael Jordan, be it Kobe, be it Steph, be it Tim Duncan, be it Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, be it Magic Johnson. I can't put him in that same category. All the complaining and faking injuries and exaggerating injuries and quitting on the team and all, like I can't respect it. And then on top of that, to add the PEDs in on top of that as well. So I don't give a damn about his scoring title, and to see him quit on defense and to see like just that kind of thing. No, don't get me wrong. He's talented. He's a smart basketball player. He understands basketball. He's really smart. He's a great passer. Don't think I don't understand his skill set. I know that he is a talented player, but he always had to have something to cheat to put him ahead of other people. And I can't respect that. I don't respect Lance Armstrong. I don't respect Johnny Bones Jones. I don't respect Marion Jones because of that same thing. I don't think LeBron is on PEDs. I am 95% sure LeBron is on PEDs. And that's why, like, I don't respect him at all. I don't respect him. And you can go and do the research on when he lost weight and then he went to Miami and he took the 2 weeks off to go train with Dwayne Wade, and he disappeared on the team for a minute, and then next thing you know, LeBron bulked up and became this physical specimen. The reason why he doesn't really get injured like that, like it's like I'm 95% sure, his hairline, all of the stuff. The reason why LeBron is able to play 21 years in basketball is because of PEDs. MJ is GOAT. That's facts. And that's the reason why I can't respect him. So like Bubba Chuck, Dirk Nowitzki, like those are the cats that I respect. I can't respect LeBron. And that's me. So I would never put, like, even in the fact when people are talking about the GOAT between LeBron and Jordan debate and all that kind of stuff, I don't understand why they skip over Kobe. If you're going to put LeBron in that conversation with Jordan, how could you skip over Kobe? It doesn't make sense. So that's my take on that, man. That's my take on that debate. I feel that people got mad at me for saying that I think AI and Dirk were better than LeBron, to be honest. No, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Speaking of Bubba Chuck, Allen Iverson, man, did y'all see that statue that Philadelphia put up for Bubba Chuck? What the hell was that, man? That thing looked like an MVP trophy, yo. If you look at if you look at Shaq's statue, if you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar statue, if you look at Kobe statue, and to see what they did to Allen Iverson was just straight disrespect, man. It hurt my heart that they did that, yo. You can talk about Moses Malone. You can talk about Dr. J. You can talk about Charles Barkley. Bubba Chuck was the best thing that ever happened to the 76ers. And then for them, even Embiid, and they did that to that man with that little bitty statue, man. Yo, Dave called it a little Bow Wow statue. Man, listen. Yo, my feelings are hurt, bro. Yeah, and that's the thing right there. That's a good point, Ben, that you brought up with the Redeem team. If LeBron was that great, if he's the GOAT, when Jordan was on the Dream Team, the two best players on that team, the two captains, honestly, the two best players was Magic Johnson and Michael. But really, the leaders of that team was Charles Barkley and Mike, right? And Mike was the leader on that team. When LeBron was leading the Dream Redeem team and all that kind of stuff, look what happened. He was bowing down at the altar of Kobe. They didn't whip that team into shape until Kobe came on. With all those great players that they had at that time, from Carmelo to D Wade to LeBron and on and on and on, that team didn't start clicking until Mamba mentality came in. And I'm not a Kobe fan. I didn't fall in love with Kobe until after he retired. And then I saw him when he started doing the game breakdowns and stuff like that. That's when I really appreciated Kobe. When Kobe started, the Timu statue, that is hilarious. That is absolutely funny. Y'all are on point, dude. I was so mad at that, man. But yeah, to further that point, man, that's the way he was the best scorer for sure. He was the best scorer, but he wasn't the best defender. Kobe was really Kobe played on both sides. And I'm really big on players that play both sides of the basketball. Timu statue, that is, man. And you know what's crazy to me is with that statue, it actually looked like Chuck. But the fact that they made that miniature Heisman Trophy of a statue is crazy to me, man. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Imagine if they made the Rocky statue look like that in Philly. Not an Amazon statue. That's a Wish statue, bro. Like, what? It hurt my heart, man. That really hurt my feelings, man. And like, y'all know, like, I'm North Carolina and Virginia all day. And Bubba Chuck is like home team for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally watched Bubba Chuck when he was a football player and a basketball player at Bethel. Like, like I followed him from that moment all the way up until he retired. Like, my family knows Bubba Chuck. He said it's a Gurkha statue. I follow Chuck, and to see like to be considered pound for pound one of the best players ever to play in the NBA, and to do that, man, like that is sacrilegious, bro. It really is, man, and it's pure disrespect. And the beautiful thing, the most humble thing about Chuck is that he gave a beautiful speech and he kissed the statue and he didn't get mad. He didn't get mad. He accepted it, and he accepted the fact that he was honored. All the people that was out there to honor Chuck. And when you think about all the people from Matt Barnes to Steph to LeBron to D Wade to Kyrie, all the people that show love to Chuck as being one of the greats and one of their favorite people in basketball, the KG, Stack 5. If you got NBA players that honor that man like that while he's still alive and giving that man flowers while he's still alive, why would you give him a statue like that, man? And I was so excited for them in this statue. But when I saw that little bitty, blanket tarp that they had over it, I was looking like something ain't right, man. I was like, something ain't right. And when they unveiled it and it was that little bitty wish statue, that hurt my feelings, man. You said I've been pushing myself to learn boxing recently. Been watching old Tim Dempsey, Rocky Liston, and all the guys from the 90s era to catch up on Usyk, AJ, Fury. Pick for Fury versus Usyk. I think Usyk is going to win that joint, man. One thing I like about Tyson Fury is that to be his size, he's really agile, he's really nimble, and he has great movement. He has great head movement. He's a strategic fighter. But you saw that when he went against what's the dude that he fought, man? I don't like him. The tall dude, man, with the brown bomber with the big right hand. I don't like him. That's why I can't think of his name right now. I really don't. He doesn't do good against power punchers, and Usyk is a power puncher and he's a strategic fighter. Wilder, yes, I hate Wilder, can't stand him, but I think Usyk is strategic enough to be able to get inside and to actually knock Tyson Fury out, and I think that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction. So we'll see. So I'm kind of bummed that Rocky is done. They didn't kill him off, but the Creed series is good. Jonathan Majors stuff, definitely unfortunate. Dang fictional fighters. I know, man, but it's kind of sad to me that that Rocky was out of that, and I didn't like. I love the original Creed. The second one was I didn't even watch the third one. I have no idea what that episode was like, but I just hate the fact that there was so much tension behind Rocky and that franchise. I think he was a really important part to that franchise. So that kind of took me out of it a little bit, man. So that is kind of disappointing. Speaking of McGregor, what do you think of him lately? Ever since the filming wrap on Roadhouse, he's definitely on either cream or white. He's probably down to 120 to 130 pounds. I didn't see that he lost all that weight, man. And I know he was juicing up for Roadhouse, but I was never the biggest McGregor fan in the first place. He's a good fighter. He's not a great fighter to me. And his last few fights kind of exposed him a lot. And I think he's been terrified to get back in the ring ever since he broke his leg. And I really think like the money and the fame and the drugs and all that stuff kind of got the best of him. So I don't think he's ever going to be the same once he gets back into the ring. So I really don't have much to say in respects to McGregor. Like, I'm not a big fan of him anyway, and I don't think he's going to be anywhere near what he was. What did you think of the Big Baby Anderson versus Wilder fight? Didn't really watch it. I caught some of the highlights, but I really don't like Wilder, man. I think he's probably one of the worst things that ever happened to boxing. So I'm not a fan at all. Like, he has some of the worst footwork I've ever seen of anybody with that much, like with that amount of time and having trainers. He should be able to, actually know how to, separate his feet. He should be able to know how to move inside and outside. He should know how to cut off the ring by now. And with that much reach and that much power, he should really be unbeatable. But to be that size and to have no muscle definition in your legs, to have no fluidity in his legs. I mean, if you think about somebody, Muhammad Ali, and I know it's kind of sacrilegious to compare. So let's not say Muhammad Ali. Let's say Lennox Lewis. Somebody that is that massive, but can still be a ring general and to know how to, step in and outside of the pocket, to know how to circle around your fighters. That's what Deontay should be. He should be like Lennox Lewis. He has the reach, he has the power, but to not be able to control your proprioception and control your body in space is kind of disappointing to me. And you've had more than enough time to train to at least get some semblance of footwork. But but he still gets tangled up just throwing wild punches and haymakers. He hasn't even figured out how to throw combinations yet. And it's just like, what are you doing in this time? The cigar is smoking pretty good, man. But I'm not getting the flavors that I normally got from this one. I had a Toro down there, and that's what I normally smoke on this one. And I wondered if the Toro would have smoked better than this Robusto. But I just felt like I had been going, on this live stream for quite some time, that it was time for me to wind it down. So I grabbed the Robusto instead. So I'm not getting a lot of the robust flavors that I got before. And I don't know if it's just the fact that it's Robusto or the previous cigar kind of took a lot of the flavors out of here. But I'm not really like enjoying it. I'm just smoking this cigar just to sit out here and have a good time with y'all. But as far as like construction and as far as the smoke profile, the body on it, it's all good. It's just the flavor is not there. Yeah, y'all saying it. I think Big Ngannou would be a good boxer if he keeps training. He gave Anthony Joshua a fight before he got knocked out. Yeah, he was looking actually pretty good, man. And I was actually surprised that Joshua had enough power to take him down like that. I was actually worried that Joshua was going to get hit with a big shot and he was going to go down. But I think one thing I'm proud of Joshua is not letting his recent losses kind of take him out of boxing and take him out of his training. So he did pretty good, man. It's just it was kind of sad to see Ngannou go down like that. But I hope he doesn't get discouraged. I hope he keeps fighting too. Norb said AI made me become a Sixers fan, inspiring career, and to overcome adversity at such a young age. Took my girl to a game today. This live stream, a good nightcap. Hey, appreciate that, man. It was a great night. Thank you for being here, man. And it wasn't a lot of people like that really inspired me like Bubba Chuck did. When I was in VA, I went to a club called Shadows, man, and Chuck was in there. A lot of people didn't see him. He was in the back of the club, and that dude was literally standing at my height and my size. We were both about 5'10", 165 pounds. And to be able to do what he did in the NBA at his height is unreal. And you can always talk about, Spud Webbs. You can talk about Muggsy Bogues. And I can't remember the other little dude and Nate Robinson. To be able to play in the NBA and you're under 6 feet is the feat within itself. But to be under 6 feet and to do what Bubba Chuck did is unreal. So, yeah, I definitely hear you on that one. Said Tyson really exposed Wilder for a fighter. He really is, bro. That's why he kept losing. But the thing is, man, I was telling people that before he even got in the ring. I was like, people were mad at me because I wasn't supporting Wilder. And it was like, yo, you need to be on Team Wilder. Why ain't you supporting him, man? It was like, yo, he can't fight. He's not a good fighter. And everybody he fought before Tyson Fury, he fought tomato cans. So anyway, hey, yo, my battery's going out, guys. So I'm gonna take a couple more of these and I'm up out of here. Cody, what up, man? Good to see you, homeboy. But yeah, finally getting some sweetness out of this thing, man. I'm down to the tail end. It's finally getting some flavor. Dang. I can't even taste the woods on this thing. Like I wasn't even. Let me do a retro hell real quick. Got a little bit of pepper and wood, and that's really about it, man. That's kind of disappointing this time around. I will. But when we come back on, man, we'll talk UFC. I'll stick around now. I'll watch that. I'll watch the 300 and on TV downstairs, and the NBA should be getting into the playoffs, so we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna keep smoking some really good cigars. I want you guys to smoke some of your best stuff. Y'all feel free to give me some recommendations and stuff that y'all think I should light up on the next Smoke Your Best. I really want to know from you guys. I think what I might do is I have the Mil Diaz Maduro, and I've been debating on whether I just want to smoke that by myself and just kind of see like when I'm not on camera and I got time to really absorb the flavors. But I also have another Atabey Black. I might like that up. So let me know if y'all want something from like JC Newman, if y'all want something from Crown Heads, if y'all want something from Drew Estates, if y'all want to do something from Principal. I enjoyed the man, I can't believe this thing is not charging, man. I enjoyed the El Pupo. I really like that cigar, man. I thought it was really good. So I got mad love for that cigar. I don't have another one, and that's one reason why I'm not smoking it while I'm up here. I think the only one I had Matt sent to me, and that's the one that I was sitting kicking back and enjoying. So I did like that El Pupo though. El Pupo. You got to say it like that. Same here with Wilder Fury fight. I knew Fury was gonna win. Wilder can't box at all, man. He's not a good boxer. So it is what it is, and he should be better by now. That's the main thing. It's just like, what is holding this guy back? You should be doing some squats. You should be doing, squat walks. He should be doing, going around cones. That he should be circling around the heavy bag. They should really be teaching that guy some footwork and teaching him how to throw combinations. But he never evolved. He should be much better, right? He should be unstoppable, but he's not. Yo, I tried to warn you about that, man, mofo, man. Like, I'm glad you tried it though. I'm glad you took the time to smoke it to see what was really cracking, but I just don't do well with Caldwells, man. They never really live up to what they're supposed to. And that's supposed to be one of their best. So take that for what it's worth. All right. This thing is not going to hold up. Thank y'all for joining in, man. Thank y'all for kicking it with me. Everybody to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the infamous Smoke Show, please subscribe over there. Go show my man Cigar Head Fred some love. Working Man Cigar some love. Show some the Bitters Cigar some love. Subscribe to their channels. And y'all keep smoking your best cigars. And enjoy yourself, man. Have a great weekend, man. Y'all be easy. Thank y'all for kicking it with me, man. I love doing this. I really do. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'll be back again. We're going to kick it and have another great lounge and just kick back and keep smoking the best. Y'all stay up. Sorry I had to end this a little bit earlier than I normally would, but it is what it is and they do what it do. Y'all take it easy. Peace out to you. Peace out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, all of y'all, man. Y'all the best. One love.